rongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Tēnei a mahuru, kua eke ki te urunga tipua, ki te urunga ka kitea, ki te urunga ka rawea, tū te whiwhi ānuku, tū te whiwhi ārangi, tū te whiwhi ki a Taringa. E mihi nei tēnā koutou e ngā iwi, e ngai Taringa. Nau mai hara mai, nau mai hoki mai ki te punua pāoho o Taringa. Coming at you from the bustling metropolis. O te awa matu. Nau mai hare mai, tēnā koe e mara.
E kara, tēnā hoki koe, tēnā hoki tātou. Me ngā mihi anō ki te wānanga Aotearoa, te māngai pāho, irirangi
Te motu.
Irirangi te motu. Oh, man, I always get you. Reo irirangi te motu. Irirangi te motu.
Irirangi te motu,
Irirangi te motu. Yeah, sorry guys, I always forget how to say your names. But yeah, tēnā tātou. Me tō mihi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know, the listeners might be like, that's just recycled from the other time she had to do a mihi.
Well, you tell me a new thought. You tell me a new thought and I'll show you an old way.
Okay. Well, e te iwi, so this week we have myself and, what am I going to call you? Lindsay, Snowy, Te Puaheiri.
Just don't call me late for dinner, bro. Nah.
Oh, God. Okay, we have me and Snow in studio today, and we are going to be talking about the world according to Lindsay Te Puaheiri Snowden.
Ai, tēnā koutou. This is Orcs, man.
But
no.
me u ki ngā tikanga o Taringa.
Ai.
Yeah, so we got to start off with the kiwaha.
Kiwaha.
Kei koe tētahi kiwaha?
So, you know, this is a kiwaha that comes from a little place called Te Rāwhiti.
Cool.
Up where my father is from, where my nan lives at the moment. Where my nan lives. And it's called uwa.
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 And, you know, everyone has their own exclamations of how to say things, eh? Like, you know, some of our whanaunga say ara.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, other places say uai. Ua.
Yeah.
So ua is another one of those words for exclamation of things or agreeing of things.
Agreement. So it's like in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like you just had a nice bite out of a freshly cooked fried bread with lots of butter on it, and you're
nice.
like, ooh, wow.
Yeah. Or here's what they say. Like, you know, my cousins, they'll just say ua and everything. So you're like, cuz, how are the kunas? And they'll go ua. And then some others are like, cuz, is that us? Ua. It's just all the renderings. It just, I'm smiling because it reminds me of my whānau back in the Rāwhiti. And then we've even got other ones that are a bit maniacal. Some of my cousins, they know every part of the bush up there. And so you might hear them at night and they'll go, where were you? Ua, Ua, So if you get my drift, e te iwi, ua.
What about...
From my Ngāti Kuta Patukeha, āwhiri.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, Ngāti
Kuta Patukeha.
Wow.
That's from my Ngāti Kuta Patukeha star side. Yeah. Ua.
So what if you're like Pōhiri,
Ua.
for example?
Ua.
And the kaikaranga rocks up in a miniskirt. Could people be like, ooh,
Well, you might go, ooh,
Okay, bad example.
Yeah. I think it's more of the affirmative and positive the way I've heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard, like, it's just more like, ooh, like, all good. Most times it's like, all good. And, like, we've all got whānau that live remotely and they've just got a saying and they say it for everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like butter on everything.
Yeah.
Cream on everything.
Yeah.
Ua on everything.
Or in your case, coconut cream.
Coconut cream on everything. Yeah. Ua. Ua. Yeah. It makes you reminisce when you think of the type of kiwaha or reo that people use in your hometowns or where you come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of colleague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've just met them, they'll still talk like that, and you're like, hey?
Yeah, I thought that was just that song. But no,
Yeah,
it's not.
colleague. And then just the different renderings of it, you know? That's the same thing with ua.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just off topic. But murupara. They've got a lot of those words. I can't think of them right now.
I know, right? That's like me. I was talking to someone and they just said something random and I was like, oh, yep, that's where you're from. I'm thinking it was a coastie.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool, eh? Like when you can start to differentiate the different sayings, like regionalize or like recognize what region you're from.
We used to get a lot of slang come back to us at when we were at boarding school from all the regions.
Yeah.
That's why we had
you went to Tipene, right?
Yes, yeah. We had like Che Mako, Che Baranabo.
Oh, Che Baranabo.
And Che Baranabo, where was that from?
I don't know, but I remember that when I was growing
the
up.
boys from East Bay, East Bop, they come back with...
That's where I grew up.
Yeah, Che Baranabo and Coat, Che Mako.
Yeah.
Che Baranabo, Che Mako, Arakamon. And this was way before...
Arakamon.
Yeah, this is
That's
where...
a Murupara one.
Yeah.
From the people I know from that area.
All my bros from Kawarau and all that. All my bros that would be hearing that would be cracking up because it's way before Akamon. Bro, it was... And then you got renderings of that was like Aragamon and then Aragarigamon.
Yeah.
And then Arakamon.
Sounds like they're adding like gibberish. And,
yeah.
They're speaking in tongues.
Yeah. Same thing. Ua. Yeah.
Ua. Wow, thanks for that. Thanks for starting us off with that. But should we go to our kaupapa now?
Yeah. This is Orcs, G.
Where to start? Start? Well, we'll start from te timatanga.
Yeah, so e te iwi, koenei tētahi tirohanga ki te ao hei tā Te Puaheiri. So like we listened to an interesting kōrero about the upbringing of Praone and I've been convinced that this will give value to those who want to know who is this person. But I like mystery. I like a bit of mystery. That's why I've got so many names, so many faces. Hoi no, e mihi tonu ana ki a koutou e u tonu ana ki te reo Māori roto i tēnei kaupapa o Mahuru. Ko hau ka he tangata peke taiapa, whakawhiti nei ngā reo. Ko taku tikanga ka hei ngā haoro o te rā. Hoi no, i enei tūwhai ahoranga ka whakawhiti hau. E tehi wā ka kōrero noa nei te reo Māori, te reo aha. Ai, so where to start?
Yeah, here we go. So you touched on it before. You I karaina koe I hato tipene? Is it
tipene,
or ki?
I think they both work.
Okay, I kuraina koe...
I tipene.
I tipene.
Location. I kuraina au ki tipene. I was schooled with, by. Yeah. I hanga au e ki tipene. Yeah.
Okay, anyway. We're going off track now.
Yeah.
So,
but before that's 1997, we'll go a bit back.
Yeah, we'll go before that.
I'll try and build a world. So
okay, build your world. Tell us about where were you born and your early years.
Yeah. I think the best thing, I'll tell you where my mum's from, where her parents from. So, konei taku whaia, her father is this fella named Mick Toi, Mihaka Toi.
Yeah.
He grew up in Hokianga, Te Karai, and his whakapapa is from all around there, in the Hokianga area. So, Pākanai. Now, Pākanai is the name, before there was Opononi or no Māpere, before there was a post office.
Oh.
Pākanai katoa katoa.
Really?
Pākanai, yep.
Okay.
We all got those names. They had to give names because of the post office. So, ask Pangaru what their first name was, hoino. And he grew up in Pākanai, Te Karai, and his iwi, his hapu and all there from Ngāti Korokoro, Ngāti Wharara, Te Pauka, Te Rorowa, Ngāti Pou. So
Te Rorowa is totally different to Te Rarawa?
Yeah. Te Rorowa is West Coast, so if you know where Waimamaku is, so if you start in Opononi and you head westbound to go towards Waipoua Forest, and you go over the hill and you head into the valleys, that's Waimamaku, and that's where my grandfather's mother's from. She's a Naira, right? Yeah. So Naira, Toi, Hohaia, this is my grandfather's side, my mum's dad. And my mum's mum, she is from Waima.
Okay.
So you go from Pakanai, then you head back inland towards Kaikohe, and she grew up in the Waima Valley.
Okay.
So between there and the Waima Valley, so she's Te Mahurehure, Uri Kaiwhare, and Te Kapotai as well. So she's a kiwi and
And
a
you guys have
tāwhai.
some cool hapu names.
Yeah. Youngster.
Iwi
Ua.
Kaiwhare, that's pretty cool.
Uri Kaiwhare, yeah. Uri Kaiwhare. And so, so she's a tāwhai and a kiwi that was born and raised in Waima. And interesting enough, she got sent to Auckland to go to Queen Vic when she was young. Apparently, my grandfather went to St. Stephen's when it was a borstal, so go figure. Because my toi whānau, they're not bad people, but...
Just haututu.
Nah, man, they're smooth brothers,
okay.
man. Yeah. Anyway, so we're in Hokianga. Yeah, and they grew up in Hokianga. I can't remember dates. And then they eventually met, and then they moved to Auckland.
Well, a lot of people from rural areas were moving into the big smoke.
The big smoke, yeah.
For the mahi.
So if you look at the iwi pockets, so like Rotorua, and so people from Murupara and that, they all go to Rotorua, or that's like the big centre. Yeah. So for us, Tamaki was the next big centre, even though some of them skipped and they went to Wellington, even Christchurch.
Well, a lot of my whānau from those generations, they went down to Wellington.
To Wellies, yeah.
A couple of my uncles, they went down to Christchurch.
Yeah, so this is all their time. All our tupuna kaumātua are leaving their homes to find mahi, to get mahi. And so that's my mum's parents. And then my dad's side, my grandmother, she grew up in Moerewa.
Right.
She grew up in Moerewa, and there was a little
place. Just the grandmother,
called,
the Eol one.
Yeah, Ua.
Oh, Jesus.
My name.
Ua.
Yeah. My dad's mum, she grew up in a place called Moerewa during Tuna Town at its economical peak, and they lived in a place called Taumatawiwi. It was the first settlement. Those from Moerewa will know. First settlement, and on the right side, next to the water. Hoino, they grew up, and then her father, who was Wati Snowden, that's where we get the name Snowden from.
Yeah.
He passed away quite early. He was 38, passed away. And so they were divvied up. The kids were, essentially. And they ended up in Auckland. And so they grew up in Auckland. Then she met this young, good-looking fellow from Samoa.
Oh!
Yeah. She met my grandfather, Solia Papali'i, which is Dalton's grandfather. Kia ora, Dalton. And they had the 4 cats.
The 4 cats.
They had the 4 cats. So that's my dad's parents, And my nan, her parents are from Ngātiwai, they're Hetas and Snowdens, and also from Rāwhiti. Titores Karekos. So.
Okay, so you're like from like quite a few areas of the north.
Oh, bro, I'm Ngāpuhi from here to Samoa. Snowdens come from Whangaroa. The first Snowden to come in to NZ from Sydney. Well, he had to go to a holiday. He was sent from London, him and his partner, to Australia on a penal holiday. When Australia was the
place where people went for those
those holidays, because he was borrowing silver and garments from the master's house. And so they thought that he was breaking the law by borrowing that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the Snowdens, they ended up in there. So quick Snowden story. Andrew Snowden and his partner Sophia Drake, PIC's partner in crimes, they get taken to Australia. They get 8 years in Parramatta Penitentiary.
Oh.
After 8 years, they get released and they get gifted land to farm.
What?
In current day Parramatta City. Yeah, I know, right?
Right, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So you go to prison and come out with some land.
Go to prison, come back with the bag. Yeah, so they got stacked in Parramatta. And he's buried in St. John's. However, he had some kids. One was Henry Davis Snowden. Henry Davis Snowden started running commerce. He had commerce ties with Aotearoa, and so he was... And a lot of the time, our tupuna were already trading, hence the flag of Te Whakaputanga, independence flag. So this is the time. And this is the time when a lot of trading's happening in the Bay of Islands, in Russell and all that. But however, at the time, Whangaroa, which is the deepest harbour in the Southern Hemisphere, apparently, that's where they were doing a lot of trading as well, in Whangaroa.
Wow.
And so he was in there, and he had ties to the South Pacific Cartel, a.k.a. Ngāpuhi, a.k.a. Hongi Hika. Gestapo. No, not Gestapo. What's his name? El Chapo Hongi Hika. And so he was in trade then, and he was helping the transit of arms and other things to bring into Whangaroa and into the Northern Iwis. So Henry Davis Snowden, he comes into Whangaroa. A ship came into the Whangaroa harbour full of guns. And that's Henry Davis Snowden. And he is actually wedded to the daughter of Rewharewa Te Koki Te Ururoa. Te Ururoa is the name of this rangatira. And he marries his daughter, Erina Ellen Ururoa.
Wow.
So that's the Snowdens and the Flavel whānau. That's where the name Ururoa comes from.
Yeah.
That's our hononga up there.
Wow.
So for those who know the Flavels, for those who know the Snowdens, koina te ahunga mai o te Snowden I Aotearoa. Yep. So that's why my name is Snowden. That's why we're snowy. That's why Te Puaheiri. Oh, no, that's another story.
Okay.
Yeah. So our parents aren't even born yet, G. So hang on. Hoi no, ka heke ka hunuku rātou ki tāmaki.
Yeah.
Aku karani mā o te hokianga, taku nēni, taku pū. Koina tō mātou ingoa mo te karani ki Tāwhiti, pū.
Oh, cool, pū.
Yeah, pū. Ko taku nēni pū. Katahi ka hono, ka whānau mai a rātou tamariki. And my mother and father, they met at Tāmaki College in GI, East Auckland. So we were born and raised, we're like second, third generation urban Māori.
Māori.
Born and raised in Auckland. Yeah. We stayed in our Ngāti Whātua ties via our Te Roroa links.
Yeah.
Yeah, so born and raised there. Ko te reo Māori, kāore I kaha kōrerotia e aku karani, te reo Māori.
Oh, really?
Wow.
But she would have been a native speaker though, eh?
Yes, so my dad's mum grew up understanding te reo and probably knowing more than she would claim today. Yeah. Because she teaches me still a lot of things and a lot of tikanga actually. Oh, cool. Just because of the way they grew up. It's
just ingrained.
It's ingrained in them, yeah. And what we label as tikanga, because we try and quantify it so people can understand it, she still naturally does. Like the way she goes to tangihanga, she's 80 something and she'll be up, gone to a tangihanga and back and you won't even know she's gone. Yeah. Anyway, so my nan, she didn't grow up speaking te reo, but knowing it, and thus it wasn't handed to her children.
She was a practitioner of it though.
Yeah. And my mum's parents, native speakers amongst themselves, and her father, my grandfather, sort of scoffed at my mum's idea of going to uni to learn te reo Māori. Right. It was so foreign to him. Yeah. He was like, oh, where are you going to learn te reo over there?
But they didn't intrinsically pass it on to her, so...
Yeah, well, it was so common to them that they didn't think that te reo Māori would get to a state of close to...
Of education.
Yeah, or to be close to not being known as a language, to being close to extinct, so...
Yeah,
true. Koina tana tirohanga. So that happened, parents met, all that happened, blah, blah, blah. We were born, Lindsay Snowden was born, National Women's Hospital on a Friday, 16th September 1983. Wow. So, ko whātekau aku tau I te putanga atu o tēnei puna pāho, tēnei puninga. Ai, whātekau. And hei te putanga o tēnei e noho anau hei ika mā te ngira Gordon Toy. Yeah, e tāna I aku waiwai ki te peha.
Cool. That is so cool.
E mihi ana kia koe tua taku mata.
Okay.
So, where we at?
So, you guys were born and then your mum went to learn te reo Māori? Or yeah. So that was happening while you were growing up?
Nah, so it's still quite recent really. It's still late in our lifetimes. He kaha no mātou ki te hoki ki te kāinga. Yeah. Ki Rāwhiti, Hararei, that was a holiday spot for us. Yeah. It still is. Well, because you're a child, so none of that stuff really matters. But in reflection...
It's all fun.
Yeah. And that's what the old people did. The old people sat at the marae. The old people spoke Māori. We were not to be seen or heard,
Right,
and that's the same attitude my parents inherited, ne? Yeah. And same thing with mum. They grew up working at IRD. Dad worked in the meatworks and factory jobs. Yeah. And so none of that was really key. Hara I te mea he mahi prawa. Mahi, it wasn't going to win you the bread. Te reo, as it wasn't for a lot of places. So yeah. And it wasn't until mum went to uni in the early 90s. Yeah. At that time, you had some big fish there. You had the likes of Ranginui, Dr. Ranginui Walker. You had, well, people who like we revere today were just in the stage. You had John Tamihere, you had, you know, the likes of Ngā Tamatoa, like, or maybe their second gen coming through.
Yeah.
And then you had, one of your lecturers was the late Moana Jackson.
Yeah.
So you imagine all these people with black hair, you know, all these people with black hair at the time, and influential iwi leaders that we know of, they were all at uni. And so mum goes there, and then a reactivation happens, an activation happens within mother. She takes up te reo, and there's this big shift in her life.
Yeah.
You know, mum and dad have already gone their separate ways. Dad's gone back to whāngarei, and so we're living with mum. And so she's a solo mum taking care of 3 kids, going to uni, law school, learning te reo, reactivating, and then sort of creating a different environment for us.
Yeah.
We live at Waipapa Marae because what mum would do, she'd be like the treasurer of Ngā Tauira Māori, NTM.
Yeah.
And they used to always have noho, like study noho, or actually, you know, if I'm looking back, probably an excuse for a place to eat and live.
Yeah.
We weren't homeless or anything, but it was just easier because
everything's there.
Everything's there.
Right there.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, not enough gas, go from GI to town for her studies, all that stuff. Little things that become obstacles. But yeah, so it was fun. And so we're rubbing shoulders with people who actually like are in really mean places today. Yeah. So these were our first early influences of positive Māori male role models. Yeah. Positive female Māori role models. And that's not to say we had none in our lives, but just different, you know, just education. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we didn't have bad upbringing. We had a great upbringing now, both sides of whānau. So then you had language spoken, kapahaka being more seen.
Yeah, it was around.
It was around more, you know, so.
Yeah. Were you doing any, in your actual schooling at that point, were you doing any te reo school, any kapahaka, any cultural stuff? I
think we're like, you know, you'd look back and I think it was like tokenistic stuff because we're the brown kids.
Yeah.
So, and you know, the Māori club. Yeah. We had the Māori clubs. My first primary was Manurua Central Primary, but they didn't have much, they didn't have Māori things. Oh, I remember we did a hangi and a sleepover.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I got growled. They were like, set up your beds. And there was no room, so I put a mattress on one of the big tables.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And I thought I was so smart. I was like, yeah, I got a bunk all to myself. And Fire, I can't remember her name, comes in and blows me up.
Yeah.
Fire, like, rips me up. Yeah, I got the weapon. Ooh-wah.
Not only... It's not like you're going to sit on the table, but you were planning on sleeping on it.
Sleeping on it. Put my mattress on there. I thought I was so clever. And then, you know, we got a tikanga check, babe. That was the only experience there. Yeah, and then we moved back to GI, went to GI primary, and so even the social outlook changed because Manurua Central was still quite what you would call sort of middle class working, whereas we went to GI primary and it was a different class. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was browner.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a boiling pot of Polynesia Island. Yeah. And the only Pākehā were the nurse, the cop, the teacher, the principal.
Yeah, wow.
That was the only way we saw Pākehā.
Yeah.
And of course, then there was more culture because... Yeah, there was more culture. Yeah. More island culture, actually. It was cooler.
That's what I was just going to assume, that you probably did more island culture stuff than what you did Māori culture,
Yeah.
At school.
And then there was an exposure to my first long haka. It was Poropeihana. That was mean. Yeah, Poropeihana, because it was a long haka, you know.
Bit longer than the kamate.
Yeah. You're like
the first verse of the kamate.
Yeah. It was kamate. It just saw all the haka from the only... Inga Tuigamala was my first matatini idol because he was the best at the haka.
Wow.
Oh, he was an All Black. Yeah. You know, All Blacks. Him and Buck, they were the best at the haka at the time.
And then, so from your early childhood schooling days, you eventually grew up and went to Tipene.
Yeah, so went to intermediate, got sent to St. Stephen's. Got sent to St. Stephen's.
And what was the thought behind that? Was that just because your mum was a Queen Vic girl?
Nah, mum wasn't born. She's Tamaki East Side Hard.
Oh, okay.
But I think because of her time at uni, she wanted to give us different exposures. She wanted my sisters to go to other kura as well.
Yeah.
To get away from the public schooling we're around.
Yeah.
They weren't bad places, but they were.
There's just more ideas.
There were more chances, yeah. They were environments that probably encouraged more of the wrong crowd type of stuff. You know, I had good mates and all that, and still good bros now. But it was about that, and also, you know, being the only boy in my family, being raised mostly by women, she couldn't give me something that males could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Dad wasn't at home, but he wasn't away, but, you know, he wasn't at home. So I think she wanted, like, positive Māori male role models. I remember her telling me, saying, you got to go to a place where it's okay for you to be a Māori.
Yeah, cool.
Where Māori boys can be Māori. I think Linda Smith told her at the time when, so Mum was under the tutelage, it was also of Dr. Linda Smith, who was a big influence on her and us.
Cool.
Especially, yeah, I mean, like, just by her presence and stuff, and I always, e mihi ana kia koe, Linda, korua ko Graham, koutou katoa ko tō whānau, who really took Mum under her guiding wing and just helped her learn and go through those layers of reactivation, you know, revitalising your Māori esteem, your self-esteem.
Tuakiritanga.
Your tuakiritanga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so at the time, Tipene was there under the guidance of the tumuaki at the time, who was Tūriro Flavel, Jimbo Flavel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, say Flavel, Snowden,
Yeah.
Tūriro. And so Mum sent me there, and it was a massive culture shock.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was a massive culture shock for me.
Culture shock and being that it's just all boys or culture. Culture, heaps of culture was there.
That was the cool part. It was the culture shock, because where I was from, I was the lead of the Māori club.
Yeah.
The boy who does the mihi that someone wrote for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I was getting exposure, but always put into little leadership things, because, or you know, to recognise Māori boy. Yeah. And then I thought, sweet. Then I get to this place and I can't even pronounce my friends' names. Well, I've got a bro called Rānera, and he just said, just call me Randy. I've got another bro, Tākina, and I couldn't say his name. And he just said, just call me Duncan.
Hey!
You know, so this is how far.
Yeah.
And I was there, and then I'm just blown away by the whole.
Wow, I just can't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so, and that was cool. The thing about boarding school, it's either you hated it or you loved it. Yeah. You know, it's one or the other.
I feel you were on the loved it.
Yeah. Really, to be honest, you know, mea whakaiti tēnei, it was probably good timing that I was moulded there, you know, that I made me go hard at Te Reo. Yeah. Yeah, or found it.
Sparked
it. Yeah. Because, like, again, you were isolated and you were in an environment where you're another Māori boy. Could be Māori boys. And, of course, it has its negative parts as well of cultures at boarding schools and what our boarding schools were like at the time. Yeah. It was nothing compared to what it was in its prior years. Tūriro had, tūriro te kaupapa I whakaora. Yeah. But yeah, so I learnt Te Reo Māori there. Well, I really took to it. Yeah. My friends, like, sort of going, bro, chill out, because I was just went at it.
Oh, you were that eager guy.
I was the geek.
Yeah.
I was the geek, starting to speak Māori as much as I can, and I couldn't imagine what it sounded like. I just remember at the time having no considerations of others. I was just really into it. Yeah. Yeah, learning as much as I could Te Reo Māori. I had teachers like Pierre Linden, Chris McKenzie, Wiremu Doherty, CEO
of Te
Doherty. Yeah, Doherty, Wiremu Doherty.
Fast forward from there, so you went to Tipene, and then I know you bounced around a bit, like career-wise. You went to uni for a stint. What were you doing at uni?
So I went to TIP. TIP closed at 2000. There was 6th form, 7th form, did Te Aute. I went down there. I did a 7th form down Te Aute, whakatanga kiakaha. To be honest, I thought I was going to be an All Black. I was an arrogant teenager. Going to be an All Black, which was far from it. I wasn't even making Northern Regions by then. I know Northern Regions B, to be honest, but, you know, Hawke's Bay 6, secondaries, counties, secondaries. I got pushed out by John Afua, let's be honest. Yeah. And so...
Bounced around.
And then left school. Yeah. Well, I mucked around. What did I do when I left school? Can't even remember. Just mucked around.
Was that your rapping days?
Oh, yeah. Snowman.
Yep.
I was with Dawn Raid for a while.
Yeah.
And that was cool. But now that's funny because really all that time I had learned Te Reo Māori and I sort of parked it and took it for granted because you go into the big world.
Yeah.
And at the time, 2000s, it was still had to get a job and I didn't see it as a viable option to create a career. And then it was about 04, so I like spent time at uni, mucked around at uni, was with Dawn Raid, which was really cool. Was really into hip hop. And then it was about 04, I had no job, and my mum she moved to Taumatu in 2000 to work for Mahi Ora.
Yeah.
And I thought, arrogant Aucklander, 09, never going to leave Auckland, best place to live.
Yeah.
And I come down here, and I'm like, oh, so I couldn't think of anything.
Imagine living in Auckland now.
Yeah. Now I'm raising kids and that down here, and I come, e te iwi, I come all this way, and I wake up next to a Ngāti Hine. Go figure. Koina taku whakahihi i ngā wā o mua, horikau aku hononga Ngāti Hine, mera atu ko Ngāti Hine aku tamariki. Maingara. So yeah, and then I wasn't doing anything, and it was always about education. Mum's always like, if you're not doing anything, I get a job, go to uni. And it was easier to be a student down here than Auckland.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Bit more affordable. So
we went to TTP.
Yeah.
Te Puaheiri 05.
Cool.
Yeah, me, my bro, Matt Martin.
Gee, I was still at school
Rob
in 05.
McMath. Yeah, were you?
Yeah. Anyway.
Were you Trident or Whakataine High?
Trident.
Oh, Trident.
Yeah.
Trident True.
Yes.
We used to play them. They had these Brazilian fellas. Or Argentinian
really?
exchange. Yeah, anyway.
So you done TTP.
TTP, yep.
And how was that? Because you had sort of parked Te Reo for quite a few years since leaving Tipene.
Yep.
And then when you went to TTP, did you find that it just came flowing back? Or?
Yeah. It was a good confidence booster for me.
Yeah.
Still same thing, cocky, 21, cocky, arrogant, crack up, life of the class clown. And then went to TTP.
And so for anyone who doesn't know, TTP is...
Te Puaheiri is a total
a
immersion.
1 year...
Yeah.
Well, the first couple of papers are not immersion, but after that, Reo
E
Rumaki.
hoa mai, if you want to boost into Reo Māori, if you want to get that shock steroid boost, go to Te Tohu Paitahi or Takiura.
Yeah, Takiura.
Big ups. Because if you want a level of fluency and confidence in a short amount of time, go there. Hoi no.
Cool, and then
te whakatairanga.
You did TTP.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was all good.
That was all good. Then I went to... But, e hoa, I went to uni and all I come out was some bad habits and debt.
Oh, mate.
And a bit of confidence in te reo and some networks.
Yeah.
But this is, this is he mea rawe ke ki au ki te hoki aku mahara ki enei tau.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure everyone else did. Yeah, then I left TDP, mucked around again. I think I went back scaffolding. Well, I was scaffolding, jib fixing, worked in the meatworks for some years.
Right, yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the meatworks over at Motown, Greenlee.
When did you eventually, you used to work for, was it called Mahi Ora then?
Oh, yeah. And then, kare aku mahi anō I ngā tau, I think 2010, 2010, and just mucking around again, I te noho tahi māo ko taku hō I nai nei. And it was just about finding jobs and, getting income. So, and it was, me pono, te reo was a novelty still to me.
Yeah.
And then got some contract work with Mahi Ora. I was like doing cleaning, water blasting, installing desks and stuff, moving their offices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then got an interview to be a kaitiaki for our home-based learning.
Yes, home-based learning, yes.
And using what little I did know. And then it was about 2015, I think I said to myself in my puku, we better make a go at it. What do you got going for you? What skills can you learn? And I was like, right, ka huri katoa au ki te reo Māori.
Yeah.
Cool.
So was that when it kind of pivoted from that novelty to actually this could be a career?
Yeah. No, well, it actually came to what are my highest values?
Right.
What are my highest values? I'm sure some of them, we can all share some of them. Whānau, and then identified te reo because within te reo Māori encapsulates all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was part of the vehicle. And
true.
So I identified my highest values and then I just went at it. It's not like you plan this stuff, ne tiwi. It's enei kōrero katoa kei roto I tō puku, I tō hinengaro. And then I've never felt so motivated and disciplined to do anything ever in my life. I wish I had the same about dieting.
Don't we all?
And in 10 years I had abs and, you know, and I had te panekiretanga o te pecs. And then I just threw myself at it.
Yeah.
And I looked for certain kaiako.
Yeah.
Like I positioned myself. I joined Mōtai Tangata Rau
Right, yes.
because of who it was.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You go to places because of who.
Yeah.
You know, me pono. It's who you know and who you owe, e hoa mā.
Who you know and who you owe. That's a good one. Cool. Because I actually, going back to our old offices at Rickett Road, I remember you would come down there for whatever reason, home-based learning stuff. I remember you asking me one time, is it blah, 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 like on some sentence structure, and here I am thinking, I don't know. What are you asking me for?
And see, that's all, yeah, pono. And, you know, I get pulled in to be the Reo Advisor and be going, yep. And then if I'd look back now, I'd be like, oh. Especially, you know, yeah. And, you know, I'm lucky to have places where I was able to grow and flourish and make those growing attempts, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, e men nui taku mihi ki te wānanga o te roa. It's been a place of growth for me in terms of te reo, as well as the programs.
Yeah.
Because there was one year, I think it was about 20, from 15 to 17, was when I really went at it, and I said to...
Because did you do Pinaki around 2016 or 17, eh?
Yeah. I was allowed, I was invited into the Reo Excellence program of Te Panekiretanga, but because I was pursuing certain kaiako, so you had Mataia Kepa and Te Kura Taiaho and Tāmaki, I wanted to do their pinakitanga.
Right.
And I identified that every Monday I'd probably get hoha driving up, so I might start dropping off. So I looked around who was around here. Our pinaki in Waikato wasn't well established because they were between two kaiako.
Yeah.
And the one I wanted to go to, he had relocated back to his haukainga in Ngaitarangi. Ngairo, who talks about Ngaitarangi on...
one of our first iwi o te wiki.
One of our first iwi o te wiki.
The first? Yeah.
The first iwi o te wiki, I believe, yeah. So go back to there. And then this rough as guts, old tohunga from Parehauraki.
Cool.
Koro here ngāpō, I hit him up and he said, yep, sweet, come to me. And I made my intentions clear. I said, I'm looking for the kaiako that will get me ready to go to Panekiretanga or confirm or deny whether I should be there.
Right, yeah.
And even our friend, Praone, tēnā koe e tai, I'm actually flattered that they discussed whether it was him or Korohere who put my name forward to go into Panekiretanga. But I think I laugh at myself at the end of the day, and I think I needed two tohunga to get me into te Panekiretanga.
You needed the endorsement. That's how blessed you are.
Yeah. Well, like, is he cool? Oh, yeah, I'll give him 50% of my mana. I'll give him 50% of my mana. So it's who you know and who you owe, he hoa mā. Yeah, and I made it clear, and I even remember, you know, te kororo ki taku hoa ki tō tāo hoa Praone, and he gave me the side look and he goes, you're a bit rough around the edges. And I'm like, it's not a definite yes. It's something else.
Yeah.
But I always made myself clear my intentions. That's why I went at it. Same thing, went back to geeking out at it.
Yeah.
Going through the same struggles, but mo te reo, I just remember a point in time, and probably earlier, but not even knowing, but revisiting what my highest values are. What are the things that I couldn't live without, you know? And it came easy. It doesn't mean I had to wānanga. They just, when things are highest in your values, they just come easy.
Yeah.
You can think of your kids, your whānau.
Yeah, true.
You know, just boom, they're just unwavering.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so, went to Panekiretanga, and that was a great experience. And I remember hiding a lot. My friends won't know this, but so when I hide, it means I start clowning around.
Right.
You know, just do bare minimum.
I'll just be a clown so they don't ask me any hard questions.
I'll just sabotage my potential so I'm not pressured with the responsibilities of being a high performer.
Yeah.
You know, koe nā te tahi aku imposter syndrome things, you know?
I get you, yeah.
Yeah, koe nā te take he nui aku ingoa. Koe nā aku mata.
Yeah.
Some of my master hide behind. Actually, my biggest learnings, nā tuatahi, he nui aku akoranga I roto I te whare makatea, te Panekiretanga.
Yeah.
Ko ngā akoranga nui, mā te huna ka aha, mā te whakamā ka aha.
Like if you hide.
What are you going to get from that? What are you going to get from the hiding?
From it? Yeah.
Now in hindsight, that was my greatest lesson of being that pressure cooker. And the pressure actually comes from yourself and the social outlook of that place. So when people come to Te Wānanga Aotearoa, they think they have to be fluent because of the social outlook it has.
Yeah.
And with te panekiretanga, not only should you be able to speak te reo Māori, but be always at the highest. Yeah, you have to be on all the time. But that's a pressure we create ourselves. And koina te whakaaro o te taumata. Koina te whakaaro o toko turu a paewhiti kia haunei. That's what they wanted, a place of excellence. So that's what I learned there. And it wasn't until after coming out of te panekiretanga that I started learning, appreciating more and more learnings, Yeah, because my thing there, going there, I went there to be right. Whereas, because, pono tēnei, no kua noi nei whakaaro, people go there to be right, but no one wants to show their kuare. But kei hea te ako I era whakaaro.
Yeah, you want to show other people that you know.
Yeah. So, but
but you don't learn anything from knowing everything.
Yeah. And so just sitting quiet and acting like you do, you didn't really get to ask questions that you did. But that's just me. Yeah.
Hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you didn't ask the questions.
Yeah, gotta ask the questions, man. Me pātai, I ngā pātai katoa.
How do you think you pivoted into your current role?
Well, same thing as putting yourselves in experiences of growth.
You better tell us what your current role is.
Ko taku tūrangi nai nei, e manaki ana au I te tūranga o te pautikanga o te Wānanga Aotearoa. So I'm the custodian of pautikanga o te Wānanga Aotearoa.
Yeah.
Which is a great position to be in for growth and pressure.
Yeah.
Cool. And for me, it's probably, in reflection, I haven't really thought of it this way, was keeping my highest values at the forefront of my choices. Career, life, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Te reo, people, whānau,
well, it's
education.
like you said before, if it's something you highly value, then it'll come easy.
Yeah, maybe I should add health to that.
To one of your values. We'll start with a low and end on a high.
Yeah.
Tell me a low or some lows of some of your learning journey and a high or some highs.
The lows are tō reo ki a koe anō, your language to yourself. Those will be the lows. For me, it's the doubt. Doubt's always going to be there.
Self-doubt.
Fear of failure and probably allowing more external to inform your internal.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
I'm sure many can relate.
Yeah. And those are great lows to go through to understand what a high can be.
Yeah.
You can't have lows without highs, but there are some lows that are unnecessary, Huama. And you can tell when you look back and go, I didn't need to do that. Or I didn't need to go through that. But yeah, you learn from it. Yeah.
And then, so highs?
Highs to give value to others. For me, that's the high. It's funny, hanga cliche tēnā kōrero, engari, he pono ngā cliches, koera I cliche ai. Cliches are cliches because they're true. And it is, and it feels fuzzy, but the way I feel, what taringa gives to others, I really buzz out. And I always say it to people, they must think it's a karo when I go, I'm just great at adds value. If it's adding value to whatever people, and if our reo experience adds value to your journey, then that's
cool.
Great.
Then done our job.
Yeah.
Not that it was our job. But
Not that it's job, but, if you've got something to share, let your mess be your message. Let your experiences be your message to help others. Yeah.
Cool.
Cheesy.
That's you all
day.
All day. Okay. And so just to finish it off, can we go back to your mother?
Yeah.
So she recently had a big graduation a couple of years ago. What was that for?
Oh, Dr. Sharon Toy. Dr. Sharon Toy, yes. So,
me mihi ka tika ki tō māma.
So, he tohu anō tērā ko te mātauranga tētahi, he takapau mātauranga he whānau huarewa, So, and people, you can look at it as an academic pursuit, but it's actually the constant pursuit of knowledge to create a great platform for your whānau.
Yeah.
We do it via educational systems at Te Wānanga Aotearoa because, there's structures that we can use and and we can carve that house out of Māori tools.
Yeah.
While others try and paint it with brown paint. This is what we do. Yeah. That's what it is.
I love that metaphor.
Oh, yeah, bro, I'm that metaphorical guy. MC active emphatic.
You're going to try and make that a thing now, aren't you?
Yeah. Nah, better lose it. Get out of it. Another mask. Nah. Yeah.
Ah, cool. That was really cool. We kind of flew through parts there, but
Oh, yeah. Who wants to listen to 40 years?
that was really cool to talk about, you know, a snippet of your life.
Thank you. Thank you
Of
for
your
some
learning.
self-realizations.
Of your learning journey.
Yeah.
And what stood out to me is, like Parone, you both had strong female figures in your life that kind of influenced your te ao Māori, te reo Māori.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was raised
Not
by...
saying that men aren't important too.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, I was moulded by the minds of my aunties, my nannies, my sisters, and my mothers. Yeah, but
Alright.
no, tēnā koe tuhine.
Tēnā koe.
Yeah. I haven't felt so nervous before or felt so awkward before.
Well, you know, when you're nervous, that's just a sign of how important something is to you.
Yeah.
So
Or how
there you go,
how
Ete
unnatural
Iwi.
it is
If
to
you're
talk about
nervous
yourself.
going into learning, it's because whatever you're learning is important to you.
Yes, absolutely. If you're nervous, it means you care. If you're not nervous anymore, you've missed something.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Any parting words to sign us off with?
Ua.
Ua. There you go, Ete Iwi.
This song reminds me of a time with my nan, living up in Omapere with her, and all my nannies and even my nan up in Rāwhiti. This is Kui Kui Whiti Whiti Ora from Ruia, and it was also the theme song for Ko Haurau. That's why it has a nostalgic thing for me. So whakaronga mai te iwi.
Rongo kauanga te hao te rihiri Mai ta whiti keria tokia Kui whiti ma te whiti ora he Kui whiti ma te whiti ora he Kauria mai anga nganga aru umare pare pa O te taiwa ko e hunga tairo I tutakina hai Kui whiti ma te whiti ora he Kui whiti ma te whiti ora he Rangi nui e tu nei, papa e takoto nei Ngā whetu kei runga ti aho te marama E mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou e E mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou e Maringa nui hi tamo ka ua ke rā I te tangi whiti hora I te awa te a Kui whiti ma te whiti hora e Kui whiti ma te whiti hora e te whiti ora e Kui whiti ma te whiti ora e Rangi nui e tu nei Papa e ka koto nei ngā whetu kei runga ti aho te marama he mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou he mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou rangi nui atu nei papa he ta koto nei ngā whetu kei runga ti aho te marama he mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou he mihi mai o hatu ki a koutou
Che, I think we just broke some records in the ratings at an all-time low. At an all-time low.
Well, I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that.
But no, that was cool. Yeah. Confronting. Reflecting. Yeah.
Reflective, yes.
Yeah. Nā, mihi ana kia koe tuahine. Mō
all good.
I ui mai nei, yeah.
Ua.
Ai. So there you go, e te ui. If you want to talk about yourself, get on a podcast.
Yeah, that's all we really do here.
Yeah. But nei, hei whakakapi, ko te tumanaku ia ka whai take tēnei kōrero mōku, kia koutou I roto I tō koutou ake whai nei tō tātou reo. Ki mihi ngā mātau pono.
Oh, yeah, that's
kei tō ngākau.
Yeah.
Mā reira e haumai ai ngā uara o tēnei au. I think, ko te reo ai, atu I te reo, what are your highest values? The aim is to live our life around our highest values.
Yeah.
Well,
if everybody did that, their lives would probably just make sense.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have money. Like, there'd be no money that exists in the world.
Like, you wouldn't need it. That's another quote.
Or unless that was someone's highest values. Then anyway, but stick to your highest values.
Ka pai.
Cool. Ka nui tēnā.
Ai, ka nui. Before we get into those tinfoil hat things.
Ai, rabbit holes into the warriors. Tēnā koutou e hoa mā. Tēnā koe tuahine.
Tēnā koe, and hei kona.
Hei kona.
Bit whakaronga pi kari kari. Get the rope close, everybody, buddy. Taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki o. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing out the hooker force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te. Kaupapa tino whakahira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa, hare mai. We gotta gather up close, everybody. Gather up close, everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa. Nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa, whakarongo mai.